There it goes.
Ta-da!
We're good. We're good.
And we'll hit OK.
Can you believe that it's almost been 10 years since our first interview?
You know, so the first time we had that meeting, I cut myself open to count the rings, and there's been 2 more rings added. So yeah, it has been 10 years. You know, because pretty much I operate like shrubbery. It's okay, or operate in the shrubbery, depending on where you're at, and where I'm at, and you don't know where I'm at. So anyway, yeah, it's amazing. And I think the best part about it is that still going forward, still making more material, and that dumb red guy is still top of the mark and waiting for my chance to get that stupid werewolf again.
Well,
I
that's,
can
that's
hardly
the,
wait.
our first conversation was about the comics, the
Yeah,
Bubba the Werewolf comic.
which was hilarious. Now the comic started in like 1996, and I had Michael Broom, who was the designer for all the stuff you see on Walking Dead, Orville, Star Trek, all kind. He's the greatest creature designer in Hollywood, and he's still good friends with me. We still talk occasionally on the weekends. He's still a riot. But the funny part of it is, we started this crazy comic. It was called Bound in Darkness, and we came up with this like horrendous idea for all these vignette type stories. He said, "What else you got?" I said, I said, "I want to do something with werewolves." He goes, "Yeah," because he loves zombies. Now I'm a werewolf fan. So I said, "What do we do?" He said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Well, I told him about a friend of mine. I told him about a whole group of friends I grew up with in Central Florida. They're all crazy. I had one of them, I sat there and said, if you give him enough to drink on a full moon, he turns into a werewolf." And he said, "What's his name?" I said, "Well, his real name was Barry, but we used to call him Bubba. Because everybody's got a Bubba, right? It's the
Yeah.
South. Everybody's got a Bubba." So basically, a lot of it was just an amalgamation of like these 7 or 8 guys we used to hang out with, and the stupid shit we do in plain English, and all the stuff we didn't get arrested for, and some shit we did get arrested for. But the thing is, we're all out of jail. Everything's good now. But the point is, it was just a lot of fun. Then it also came out of this Halloween costume I did because I could not afford to get the full fur suit and everything, but I could do the furry face. I could do the makeup because I was working in makeup at the time, and I get everything else. But here's the problem: nothing on top of my head, nothing for the rest of me. I get the hand, it goes by those stupid werewolf hands. So back then, bib overalls were a big thing. So I put on a pair of bib overalls. I put on a flannel shirt because it was a little cool because it's towards Halloween. I put on the gloves, and to cover my head, I just put on a net trucker's hat. Bubba the Redneck Werewolf was born. Now he
I
was
love Bubba.
influenced a bit by the Coors Beer Wolf because I didn't want to do the Coors Beer Wolf, but I couldn't get that big hairy suit, so I said I made my own. At the end of it, I'm like going, "Damn, this works." I was not, however, replaced by Elvira. Although I have met her, she's a wonderful person. I love her to death, but nope, not replaced by Elvira.
No, no, you're more of a special character, a little red devil.
Now the devil. Okay, that's something I've done since I was a kid. Remember those Collegeville costumes where you had like the little smock like thing you used to wear,
Yeah.
and then you had that crate that vacuum form mask you'd put on. Well, my mom, I asked her to go to the store with me, and I wanted to get this like skeleton they had. But they were out of the skeleton. But the most evil thing they had though was this devil. And my mom was real open minded. She didn't care. She goes, "Okay, you want to be the devil, be the devil. Your father's called you that anyway. So great, perfect. Typecast." And I've always had this thing for that costume or the look and the whole thing like that. And besides, you get a, let me put this way, I can do this one. So you work at the, you get the devil face going. And I was always told that I had this devil face. So as time went on, it got really funny that I would go to parties and stuff, and I would do more than I do the werewolf anymore. I did the devil. And then I had a chance at this one show down here in Florida. It was a horror convention, and a friend of mine was playing Death, and he called me up. He said, "Look, I want to do the apocalypse panel." I said, "What the hell is that?" And he goes, "Well, we're going to talk about the end of the world and everything like that. No, I want it between the death and the Satan." I said, "You think we're going to be the two things left?" I said, "There's no God or Jesus or anything." He said, "Or Buddha or anybody." He goes, "No, no, it's going to be between us." I said, "So all human beings have a choice of is Satan or death. Really, dude?" I said, "Aren't I you kind of aren't let me put it this way, aren't I kind of an end user? You're a supplier. You kill them, bring them to me, then I get stuck with all this stuff. Actually, I should really be pissed off at you. You're overloading my people. I got a lot of problems down here. And you want to start an apocalypse? You've been talking to God, starting crap? Really? I need this? And we started laughing on the phone and it became the panel. So later on, when the movie came around, and I was writing it with a couple of friends, because there's not only one writer on Bubba. It may only list one in the movie. I had to make a deal with the devil, literally, and he was. Okay, but he demanded that he be the only one. I said, okay, your ego and you can have yourself a good time there. Okay. I didn't care. I'd written all the comics and stuff, and I knew what I was going to do. I was going to knock his script in the dirt and have some fun with it. And I did. But anyway, though, he had this thing where he was doing a lot of drugs and drinking a lot. He's afraid the devil was really under his bed. Then he got the crazy idea that he was Satan. He's going to be the next Satan. He even wrote a book about it, sold it on Amazon. It was hilarious. I just sat there smiling, going, I'm stuck. I already got to deal with this guy. I'm screwed. I got to go forward with this movie. So I'm like going, I'm basically watching a mental patient. Okay. Who now is still doing more movies and stuff like that. And they're all crazier. I mean, stuff like vomit dolls and junk like that. He's a nut. That's my opinion, however. But anyway, the point is simply this. So he wanted to make Satan the antagonist in the movie for Bubba. Now, Bubba's origin was basically in the comics, it was a dog catcher caught the wrong dog. The dog was being used for like makeup experimentation. You know how like a lot of companies were caught for doing experimentation on animals, animal testing. This dog got brilliant from the makeup because the makeup had some kind of toxic element. The dog got loose. Bubba caught in the corner, captured the dog. Dog bites Bubba. Dog gets loose. Bubba goes home and pours moonshine that he made him, his typical, he's a southerner, put moonshine over it. It's a full moon. He's covered in dog hair. And he wakes up he's angry at everything. He wakes up next morning. He's in the hairy suit 24/7. That's it. And everyone in town loves him. He's bigger and hairier, but less stinky. And he's more fun to hang out with. And even he gets the girl and everything. So everything works out for him, right? Now in the comics, they wanted to make the deal with the devil and blah, blah, blah. So I do the deal. And anybody, you've seen the movie, it's on Tubi. You can see it for free. Or you can pay $1.99 on Amazon and not have to watch commercials. But you're still going to get the same movie. So just let you know. But I don't make any profit off the one from Amazon. I make a little bit off the Tubi thing. But anyway, either way, you're still paying the devil, kids. But anyway, the point is that's how the character came to be, and that's how the movie got done. But the red guy, I ad-libbed almost everything in that movie. I would just let them go, and I had like 3 or 4 brilliant people that I worked with in the movie, like Malone Thomas, who's wonderful. She wanted to do Hallmark movies. Actually did a Hallmark Christmas movie. So if you're really angry, you can be mad at Bobby Joe because she's doing that stuff to you now, okay? But the funny part of it is there was me, there's Gary Norris, the guy who played Cletus, who was brilliant, okay? I had so many wonderful people I was working with on the movie, and Fred Last was terrific as Bubba, okay? But the point is, they would say stuff, and I'd look at the lines that the guy wrote, and I'm going, nah, screw this. And I'd throw my own lines in. I drove the director crazy, and the director was pain in my neck anyway. I used to call him Orson B. DeMille, because he was just so affected about how he was going to be with the movie and everything. And I used to sit there going, whatever, dude, let's just get through this. Let's make this film. It'll work. So where I felt there wasn't enough funny, well, I'm a Mel Brooks fan. I decided to make the werewolf movie that Mel Brooks never got to make. So that's what happened. That's why you hear all that crazy stuff that goes on, where I wanted to marry Cletus. Is that they wanted me to marry Bobby Joe or some other girl in the movie. And the nun, I said, screw that. When the nun, feeling up the nun, that was all my idea. I thought that would be funny as hell. And I was so lucky that my friend Meg, who did the role of the movie, Meg Murderer, she is such a doll. She let me get away with it. And the funniest thing is, her husband was this great guy named Josh. He's an ex-Marine. He's egging me on to feel her up more. And it's like, I'm like, he's staying there going, get her, Mitch, go on, really get her. Like, I'm embarrassed at this point. This is my friend. Okay. I'm not that guy, really, I don't care what people think. I'm not that kind of person. Okay. So I go, okay. And I'm really throwing in. Meanwhile, I have 2 other guys underneath me because we have painted their arms red. And they're underneath me. All 3 of us are trying to feel this poor girl up. I swear to God, look like something from a Trump rally. Okay, there's the joke. Here, remember, Bubba the Redneck Werewolf. See, it's not my joke. It's Bubba's joke. Yell at him.
Bubba's gone a long way. You've got the movie. He's even got his own coffee, which is very good, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I love the coffee. I mean, I absolutely adore the fact I've got the coffee. There was hot sauce. There's been T-shirts, all kinds of merchandise. He's been terrific. He's been a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and a lot of help. We were #1 on Hulu. I mean, for like 10 months. We were a major part of Huluween, Dish Network. We were sold in Walmart and Best Buy and Target. It was crazy. And to this day, still, if I go to the grocery store and I stand just certain angle and my voice comes out, I have people walk up to me. You can ask my wife, come up to me and want an autograph, or they want to sell me their soul because they realize I'm Bubba from the movie. I mean, I'm not Bubba from the movie. I'm the devil from the movie, which is I. It's a laugh, but they come up to me like they sit there and pull out like something out of their wallet, a pen, not their wallet, their purse, a pen, or something. Mostly the women. I'm like, oh, where am I going to sign? You should see the stuff and places I've had to sign, and we'll leave it there. My wife is so long suffering. I got news for you, Amy. If you're out there, sorry. But it's been really great. The wonderful thing about having the breakout character with the devil is that I said I got to do more with him. So I started doing some live stuff with we did this thing called Coffee Time with Satan, a bunch of friends at a coffee shop. It was an interview show. We had Jesus come on as a guest. We had Mother Mary come on. We tried to get her on the date. We felt that God was a deadbeat, so we got her in the dating game. We even had the dating game background made and had her come on and try to get somebody to date her. It was horrible and funny. But I always had this thought in my mind that this could be a great character. I just had to figure a way to use them. So that's when I came up with what I'm currently doing, which is Satan PR LLC, which is Satan Public Revelations Limited Liability Corp, which is this crazy thing right here. And that's a pin you can get for free. I'll explain that soon enough. And we're also working on, of course, and it's upside down because I'm Satan. We've got T-shirts, and yes,
That's
Kelly,
true.
you will be getting one of these babies. But right now, how much would you pay? And it's going to be free merch because I want people to get involved in it. But we've gone on YouTube with it, and it's getting a lot of hits and a lot of interest. So we're just waiting to see what happens, like with things like Has Been Hotel. Let's get the series rolling. Let's get some episodes in and see if someone wants to pick it up and go further. And here's the best thing about this. I know you have questions. I'm running past you, but I'm really excited about this because we're bringing Bubba back.
Yes, I love Bubba.
That everyone loves Bubba. That SOB is going to have to go up against the devil though one more time. This time we're going for all the cookies. I've had it. All right. So the first story arc is going to be Satan trying to replace God because he's tired of all the BS that goes on, the crazy souls he's being sent, and the fact also he's lazy. He doesn't need an apocalypse. He's finally got hell running correctly. Now they're going to flood it with millions of crazy people. Even worse. Again, no, he doesn't want it. So what he's decided to do after discussing it with God and God doesn't want to help him, he's going to find one of the older gods and bring them back and repackage them. That's why he's PR. It's public revelations of public relations. So he's going to find one of the older gods and see if he wants to come back and take over and fight the current guy who fought with him in the first place. Another rematch. It's all about rematches. We will be soon meeting our first god. Our next episode is coming up where he'll deal with God himself. And then after that, he'll be dealing with his wife, his family. Yes, Satan has a family. Holy crap, they're back. And dealing with these other gods and trying to convince them. They've all moved on. They're doing really weird or interesting, cool things. I really can't take away all the fun. When we get through this next story arc, Bubba's coming back. And I have a great voice person doing Bubba. I love Fred, but this is now we're doing animation, which means we need voice people. And I got a fantastic Bobby Joe. She's so southern, it just drips lemonade and snickerdoodles. I wonder who it could be.
I hear you.
Yeah, I hear you too. But we're going to do that one. And then the final one's going to be Bubba. I'm going to take one of my storylines from my comics I always want to do as a film. And we're going to do that one as the end up. And funny you should mention the vampires. You'll see. Let's see what happens let's just see what happens when the Addams family meets, what's the best way to put it? Dracula's kids. We'll take it from there. With the Beverly Hillbillies basically running the show. And if you don't understand those old references, that's why they have Tubi. You go on that and you can find everything, Andy Griffith, all that nonsense, and catch up to some really classic comedy.
Oh,
But
I love
anyway,
to. The movie I executive produced, 13 Slow Still Christmas, is on Tubi.
which I thought was brilliant, by the way. Good work. And everybody, something, let me tell you something about executive producers. Everybody thinks all they do anything but get the money and supply, craft services and donuts and crap. Dude, we did this job. We sweat like producers are crazy, actors are nuts, the makeup crew, the sound crew, they've all got to be kind of herded like cats. And you can make that joke about herded like cats. No, we literally have herded them like freaking cats. They don't care. They'll sit there and lick their butt on camera. Believe me, okay? It's just, and they just, all they want is one thing. Do I get credit? Do I get credit? Yes, you're getting credit. And when you move into the position we were, it was about pay. So it was like, oh, how's the scale? How am I getting paid? And we took care of everybody we could. But feeding this army and taking care of them, you think the director is going to help any of that? Was he setting up craft services? Was he doing any of the stuff that we were doing? No. Was he making sure they were taken care of, they were warm at night or cool during the day, or they got to the job or didn't get to the job? Or logistics. This is all a working executive producer, not just the money person, but the person truly making that production operate. And people need to understand that job is vitally important. So don't laugh at it anymore, because you may wind up on set and we find out online you left an executive producer, and we watch social media people everywhere. It's Big Brother, dude. We'll find you and we will make your life so interesting. And I can't say any more than that. Anyway, Kelly, so go on.
So tell me, where can people find the comic now?
Okay, mostly now it's on eBay and they go for hundreds of dollars. To be honest with you, I can't even afford back issues. Okay, I'm so mad at myself. I took about 1,000 books one time and got mad during, just let's say a breakup with somebody, and I had no place to live. I was home at time. I was homeless. I didn't know what to do, and everybody blamed it on that movie, because not this movie, but there was another effort at a movie that was awful and went to hell because I had these crazy people who were playing producer. I literally had two guys who were sitting there and ramping up money in my name and not telling me what was going on. And I went after him, closed it all down. I was so mad at Bubba, I threw thousands of comics in a dumpster. At least 1,000 comics, which are now worth maybe $100 to $300 a piece. Yeah, don't tell me I'm a genius, because I'm not. I proved it there. But the
Well,
thing is,
since
you can go on eBay and you still find them, and some of them at a reasonable price. It's the best I can tell people. I do intend to do a reprint trade paperback eventually, but I'm fresh artwork and redoing some of the stories a little better, to be honest with you. But that'll be in the next 2 to 3 years, so hang on, everyone.
right, and you're talking about comic book. You have two books out, right? One of them was Vinny and Mooch.
Vinny and Mook, the Hitmen of the Supernatural. Those are two novels that I did, and it was basically, I wondered what would happen if mafia hitmen had stuff that wouldn't die. How frustrating would it be to these guys? Because usually they're like, hey, it's going to be taken. No, and I knew some people back in my day, and it was very fun to sit there and think how frustrated you would be if it just gets back up and comes at you again. It's not just a zombie; it would be like a vampire. It could be a ghost. It could be almost anything that drive any supernatural creature drive you nuts. But what if two guys got a grip on it and figured out how to do the job? And that's what Vinny and Mook was all about. So it started out with a gangster's daughter being kidnapped and taken to a Caribbean island where a bunch of vampires were doing all kinds of weird stuff and experimentations and stuff with human beings, and trying to make her basically the vampire queen and stuff, and sent the guys down to find her. And they found her, and turns out one of them fell in love with her and they rescued her. And then I did another book, which was Vinny and Mook, Family and Things. The first one is called Hitman for Horror. The second one is called Family and Fiends. And the great thing, hang on a second, I think I might have one. Let me see. Yes, I happen to have one. Yes. Here you go. This is Vinny and Mook, Family and Fiends. And the guy may look, this knucklehead, not this knucklehead, but this knucklehead looks, no, not this. This one looks familiar. So, and here's actually the stock photo, the cops photo that, no, never mind. But anyway, we don't talk about that. But
I'm
anyway,
down
though,
for it.
so the thing is, this one is great because it's a bunch of short stories and all the adventures they have after the island. So you can still find it on Amazon, and I'll be making other things available. But the one I'm working on now, I'm really excited about, is this one. This is Chavella, Chocolate, and Cthulhu. During the pandemic, I have a lot of friends, and I don't care what people have to say about it. They're brilliant and wonderful people. I have a lot of friends who live in Mexico, and I actually have family that lives in Mexico. So, I mean, hey, it's a world. So the thing is, I wanted to do something really different that nobody's done before. I want to do a novel that was set specifically in that country, written for that crowd of people, because there was a very, very famous singer called Chavela Vargas. And she was kind of like the Joan Baez and Elvis combination of Mexico. She filled stadiums with 10, 15, 20,000 people. She sang at the Olympics back in the 60s and stuff. Chavella was a very interesting character because she was also the very famous artist, Frida Kahlo. That was her girlfriend. That was her lover and girlfriend for many years. So Chavella also unfortunately drank a lot, but she was also like an Indiana Jones. She would dress like a man, carry a whip and a gun, and kidnap the girlfriends she decided she wanted for her and Frida or for herself. And she was tough. And she was very, very heavy into two things: human rights and LGBTQ before there was any. She wanted to make sure that people were treated correctly. And she also said that where your heart is where you are. And she used to say that a Mexican is born any place the fuck they want. Because she's from Costa Rica and she moved into Mexico. Then she moved into the States. She went all over the world. Paris. She was the toast of Europe. She's an amazing person. My friend's mother was her last lover and her attorney. So we were talking back and forth about it. And I used to be in radio, and I used to do this world music shows on a jazz station. Because, yes, the devil does love smooth jazz. There's proof, kids. So I was working this jazz station, and I found world music, and I found Chavela Vargas. Now, there's a song she does called La Llorona, which is about the weeping woman, about this woman who's lost her children, and she haunts the Mexican landscape and city. Well, here's the other thing that's interesting. Anybody watch the Wednesday miniseries with Jenny Ortega? In the background, almost every episode, she's playing Chavela Vargas. You hear La Llorona in the background because Gomez was Mexican. And that's why she was into Chavela Vargas. And I didn't know that. Now, I've written the book before the series came out. So anyway, I write the book, and it's an adventure story. It's like Indiana Jones meets a crazy drunk lady who's a singer and famous from Mexico. And we have her fighting Nazis. We have Cthulhu coming in, the elder gods. We have the Mexican gods, which if you've never seen the pantheon of Mexican gods, they're incredible. It's absolutely incredible. There's a Netflix show, and it's basically about the Mexican gods. You'd have to go look online and look for it. The same guy did Book of Life, did this, and you'll love it. It's fun. It's crazy. It's like lucha libre with Mexican gods. Maya and the Three is the name of the series. You can find on Netflix. And if you like lucha libre, if you like wrestling and the masked and the crazy, the whole series, that's what it is. It's fantastic. You'd enjoy it. And I put some of that into the book also. Right now, the book is being looked at down in Mexico for distribution, and it's been featured by the government, and they're very interested in pushing it further. And I think there's going to be something for several of the universities, libraries, and things down there. It eventually will find a U.S. audience, but right now I want it to be down there, and it has been translated by real Mexican translators, not just Google, whatever they got and junk like that. It really is. The subtleties of the language, the nicknaming, everything is there present. So if you do speak Latin, Spanish, this is the book you want to get your hands on. And my friend Adeliza Zarate, who is basically the answer to Mexican manga, has been promoting and pushing the book because it was her mother, basically, like I said, who was her last lover. And this is for everyone down there. So, we'd actually had done a Kickstarter for it, and we raised $8,000. So the book is fully financed, everything like that. We're just right now working in distribution, but people threw in. Do you know what it's like for people down there with little as they have to push this book forward? And we only did it because we did it for nickels and dimes, make sure a lot of people got books. And I will make sure even more people get books because I want to make sure that people enjoy this. But to not have your culture honored after you come up with things like astronomy, all kinds of science, chocolate, coffee, all the things that come to this culture, you can talk about all these immigrants and things like that. Fine, go right ahead. That's fine. But remember, 90% of you came from someplace else. You just happened to get here first and had a stake in the joint. But you know, I have a friend, Al Going Back. Ask him what he thinks about immigrants because he's Choctaw and Cherokee. I think he's got a whole lot more to say about the subject. Okay? We all come from somewhere. But what we can do is one thing. We have stories and we have the gods and goddesses and all these things we can talk about and tell to each other. Why can't we just get along with our food? What, you don't go to taco night? Really? Taco Tuesday's not a thing? Please. Okay, if you enjoy the culture, then try to meet the people. I know it's difficult to meet people you don't understand and they seem different or whatever it is. It ain't going to kill you because how many times have you sat at the barbecue? And we're Southern, right? Southerners. How many times do we sit at the barbecue table and the argument's over, well, this is too vinegary a sauce or too tomato sauce or too sweet, right? But grandma's ambrosia salad, does it have too many marshmallows or too little? Is the tea sweet enough? Is the lemonade done right? And all colors are sitting at that table throwing down, right? So, you can make fun of the South also saying that, we're this and racist and junk like that. Let me tell you something. I've encountered more racism in upstate New York and out in certain parts of the Midwest and even California than I've seen in the South. It seems like we all just get along. Because you know why? We got one thing in common. Hurricanes, barbecue, gators, and crazy people trying to exploit us constantly. Am I wrong, Kelly?
Forgot about the food.
Okay. You don't agree with the other? Okay, fine.
No, I agree with it all, but you forgot about the food.
But the other ones, once I sit one of them people down at that table and put that pixicle in their face, they go, oh yeah, I'm good. Everything's fine. You got more of these? I go, yeah, I got some pulled pork with it. You tried the chicken. And the cornbread.
And I wouldn't know what to do without coffee. So,
dude, coffee. And the other great finding is for everybody in the world, everybody sits down and has a cup of coffee. You go to any airport from every country, they're all sitting there at that S-Bucks or whatever they have, and everybody's sitting there talking about, whatever, but they're all sipping on that coffee. Either it's iced, latte, anything in between. It's still that wonderful, wonderful bean that does all the magic. And caffeinates the hell out of me.
Al has his own coffee too, right?
Yep, he's got tribal screens. And Mike Broom, I told you about, he's got Cthulhu Tiki Terror. And you got to try, you've got to try. Okay, we're the three horsemen of lunatic coffee because mine's bourbon flavored. I wonder why. But it's all three of us having coffee. We've gotten together online with our coffee sitting there going, oh, I did a better brew than you did on mine today. Da, 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 da. Right? Let me tell you something. We all drink each other's. We don't talk about it. But we all know because all the wives talk.
I think I've had everybody's coffee. So yeah.
You see, and you're due for, and I happen to know some people who happen to be in charge of that kind of thing. So it just might be able to just get a Kelly Horror Fuel coffee going. Because let's face it, horror fuel is one thing, caffeine's fuel on another. And we put those things together, dude, got either the scariest coffee that's going to launch you into next year or just, God, take over the universe, that kind of junk. But anyway, so what else you got?
Quick question. When is your next episode going to be on YouTube?
Okay, so we're literally dropping like a turd in a punch bowl. We're going to be dropping the next episode August 1st. And we're going to try to get a new episode every first of the month from here on in. My friend Sam Gaffin has been fantastic. Now, Sam's another guy you want to keep an eye on. Sam Gaffin is the guy who does Killer Robots. And the last movie is called Killer Robots Crash and Burn. Now, Killer Robots has been written up by the New York Times. It wound up on the New York Times entertainment page, and we were like, holy crap. So we're two Florida men doing silly crap together now. It's like, hold my beer, what else can we come up with? And Sam's the best. He's a brilliant musician. He's an insane filmmaker. He's a great writer. But the other thing is he does these voices. Wait till you hear the voice of God, because I'm going to just tell on Sam right now. He did the voice of God. It sounds like Yosemite crazy person. You would not expect what's going to happen. And wait till you see who God is. That's going to knock you out. But Sam and I have been having a blast with this. So we basically put our twisted little heads together, and we got in a hold with some friends who had some really unique voices. Because the one thing we both believe in, yes, we can get celebrities. They've been offered. But it's nice. But how much fun is it to discover the next Harrison Ford who was a carpenter on the set? Or just this person who was just, serving coffee one afternoon, or working in a restaurant and served some famous person. They hit it off and they wound up in the movie. That's what we're doing. We're trying to find new and unique voices, just like I did with Bubba and like he did with Killer Robots. So one day, yes, we'll get celebrities. It'll be fun to have them. But let's get these folks in first, and then everybody can play together and learn from each other and have some fun.
Right. And you never know who's going to pop up.
That's the point. I've been told by some people that some very, very interesting names might just show up even on my thing. And I heard that this individual is working on a movie themselves, and they may have some very, very heavy talent coming into this. I heard she was an executive producer, but she's now going to finally, after being beat to death, is going to sit down and write this. She told me about this movie that I want to see it yesterday. Okay. It's based on true facts. It comes from an angle you wouldn't expect. It's got comedy, but it's also got pathos. It'll scare the living crap out of you. And it makes a villain out of something you would never expect to be a villain, with another villain kind of floating around the edges. It's the most unique concept I've ever heard. And I love film. And I've been to Hollywood. I've been to Sony out there. I've gone to Screen Gems and talked to all kinds of people. I'm going to tell you something. If I could walk through the gate, if they'd let me back in anyway, with this film, dude, it's all over. So whoever that person is, wherever this individual may be, do it and finish it, please, for Christ's sakes. I'll even be a victim. I'll throw in. I'll come up. Oh, I can't tell you what. Oh, shoot. Okay, let's just say it's above me because, I'm in Florida. You've seen Florida. It's beneath everything. Ask anybody.
You're crazy.
That's how come it works so well.
Yeah,
same people can't do. Same people can't do the shit we're doing, Kelly. They're too scared.
I like my people a little unstable. You are silly. But we will make sure that everybody is kept up to date on what you've got cooking.
Well, thanks, Kelly. Appreciate it.
And
it's been a long haul, and you've been long suffering. You deserve combat pay for the stuff you put up with dealing with me.
And we never know what deals we made with the devil. So,
And something? Let's face it, the best deals are made with the devil. And let me tell you, if evil wasn't so tasty and so much fun, there wouldn't be so much interest in the devil these days. Because you know what? It is the devil, And you know what? You can hang out, have a beer with him, have a drink, and you know what to expect, what the devil's going to do. Yeah, he's going to pull a fast one. Yeah. But you know what? If you get on the right side, he'll pull it with you. That's the point. And again, it's YouTube, the Mitch Hyman channel. Go Mitch Hyman, MITCH My God, I can spell my own name again. And you just look up Satan PR LLC, even on Google, and I'll take you right to it.
And we'll have a link in so everybody can one click go right to it.
Great.
I mean, we are evil, but a little mercy makes the rotten shit we do even sweeter. And speaking of rotten shit, so, what have we got planned for the fourth quarter this year?